Chicago, 1893. The city was alive with excitement. The World's Fair had arrived, drawing thousands of visitors from across the country, travelers eager to see the wonders of a new age. But just a few blocks away from the grand exhibition, there was another attraction, a place far less spectacular, a place where people checked in, but never checked out. To those on the outside, it was just a hotel, a 3-story building, newly constructed, offering rooms to weary travelers. But inside, it was a labyrinth of horror, a maze of soundproof rooms, hidden passages, dead-end hallways, and doors that led to nowhere. Rooms designed for one purpose: to kill. The man who built it, a doctor, a businessman, a con man, and one of the most terrifying serial killers in American history. His name was H. Holmes, and this is his story. Some men build homes, others build graves. Born Herman Webster Mudgett in 1861, Holmes didn't grow up surrounded by death. He wasn't raised in violence, but he was different. As a child, he was obsessed with anatomy. Some say he tortured animals, studied their bodies, fascinated by the way life could be taken apart. Others claim he was brilliant, manipulative, a master of deception from an early age. He went on to study medicine, but he wasn't interested in saving lives. He was interested in stealing them. While attending medical school at the University of Michigan, he developed a new talent: fraud. He would steal corpses, mutilate them, and then collect life insurance policies on the deceased. For him, death wasn't just a science, it was a business, and business was booming. Holmes arrived in Chicago in the 1880s, taking on a new identity, one more fitting for the man he was becoming. H. Holmes. With his natural charm, he quickly established himself as a successful businessman, buying a pharmacy and gaining the trust of the local community. But what he really wanted was something bigger, something permanent. And so, in 1892, he began construction on a building unlike any other, 3 stories tall, a hotel for visitors to the World's Fair. But Holmes personally oversaw every detail of the construction, and with good reason, because this was no ordinary hotel. This was his killing ground. A labyrinth of horror, hallways that led to nowhere, doors that only opened from the outside, rooms designed to trap victims inside, forever. There were hidden chutes that led straight to the basement, where Holmes had built his own personal morgue, an incinerator, large enough to burn entire bodies, chemical vats filled with acid, dissection tables. Holmes didn't just kill people, he erased them. And the worst part, no one even suspected him. Holmes's victims were many. Some were hotel guests, drawn in by his charm and hospitality, only to vanish without a trace. Others were employees, hired by Holmes, only to never be seen again. Some were women who trusted him, seduced by his charisma, believing they had found a future with him, only to find their future was already over. The exact number of his victims is unknown. Some say 9, others claim over 200. But one thing is certain: they all walked in willingly. None of them ever walked out. For years, Holmes got away with murder, but what finally brought him down wasn't the killings, it was fraud. Holmes was a master con artist, running scams all across the country. Insurance fraud, fake businesses, forged documents. And when one of his partners in crime mysteriously disappeared, authorities finally took notice. Holmes was arrested in 1894, and while in custody, his secrets began to unravel. The police searched his hotel, and what they found inside shocked the world. The soundproofed rooms, the secret passageways, The human remains hidden within the walls. They had never seen anything like it before. A building designed for death. A murder castle. Holmes never showed remorse. Even when confronted with the horrors of what he had done, he smiled, he laughed. He even wrote a confession, but filled it with lies and contradictions. Some say he was a psychopath, incapable of feeling guilt. Others believe he was something even worse. A man who enjoyed what he did. A man who saw human life as a business opportunity. When asked why he killed, Holmes responded simply, "I was born with the devil in me." His last words before execution, "I have done nothing wrong." In 1896, H. Holmes was hanged. But his legacy, it never died. His murder castle burned to the ground. But the legend of America's first serial killer, it still stands, even now. H. Holmes built a hotel designed for death. But he wasn't the only killer with a taste for hiding in plain sight. Some killers don't build castles. Some killers become ghosts. Like the Zodiac Killer, a murderer who taunted the police, left behind coded messages, and was never caught. Next week, we step into the mystery and into the mind of a killer